πάλι για να βοηθήσουν και το IDEATE. Συνέντευξη τύπου ενός ευρωπαϊκού έργου ενίσχυσης των δεξιοτήτων των εργαζομένων και των μικρομεσαίων επιχειρήσεων στον χώρο του τουρισμού. Και έχουμε την τιμή μαζί μας να είναι εκπρόσωπος IDEATE Turismo Confindustria από την Ιταλία, θα μας μιλήσει σε λίγο η κυρία Σίλβια Μπαρόνε. Έχουμε τον Αλέξανδρο τον Αγγελόπουλο, ο οποίος είναι μέλος του ΣΕΠΕ και μέλος του Ξενοδοχειακού Επιμελητηρίου Ελλάδος και βέβαια είναι ο αντιπρόεδρος του Αλτεμάρ Hotels, σωστά. Και από την Ακαδημία Επιχειρηματικότητας θα μας δώσει τα τεχνικά μέρη του ευρωπαϊκού έργου Αλεσάνδρο Καρμπόνε, ο οποίος είναι και ο project coordinator, και εγώ στο τέλος της συνέντευξης τύπου θα σας δώσω μια σύνδεση των μικρομεσαίων επιχειρήσεων στον τουρισμό με την επιχειρηματικότητα σε ευρωπαϊκό επίπεδο, για να δούμε πώς αυτό μπορούμε να το βοηθήσουμε να πάει παρακάτω και σε εθνικό και σε ευρωπαϊκό επίπεδο. Θα χαρούμε πολύ να έχουμε τις ερωτήσεις σας, γιατί θα μας βοηθήσει να γίνουμε καλύτεροι.
Thank you very much for the invitation and the organization of this press conference. My name is Silvia Barbone. I'm representing Federturismo Confindustria, which is a national organization in Italy representing the tourism enterprises. And Federturismo is leading this project, European Tourism Careers. The IDEATE project actually is the title of the project. European Tourism Careers is the brand of the project because it's the main scope of the project. Federturismo is leading a large consortium, actually representing 10 partners, but Alessandro will give you specific details about the project itself. I want just to inform you about to give you some details in terms of the dimension of the project, because this project involves quite few European countries. Of course, Greece is one of the key countries for this project, Italy, France, Spain, Finland, and plus we have 3 additional countries, Poland, Hungary, and Germany as well. So all the results will be disseminated at the regional level as well as at European level. So let's go to the key points from the perspective of the European Commission, which is the scope of the project, why the European Commission is investing in this topic. So as you may know, there is tourism, first of all, is one of the key competences of the tourism of the European Commission since 2010. There was the tourism communication, and since then, for the first time, we had tourism under the competence of the European Commission. But of course, the action of the European Commission complements the action of the member states. And especially, there is one key objective that the European Union is working to make the tourism sector more competitive. And how we reach competitiveness in the tourism sector, one of the key priority is education and skills. And this is why we all know Europe 2020. I mean, we are all aware of these big strategies. Within these big strategies, we have the agenda for skills. So, and this is a key priority of the European Commission, and tourism is there. So it's very important to be aware that this is a key priority for the European Commission to make Europe more competitive, because we know that tourism is the third industry in Europe. So it's a great opportunity for each of the member states to have tourism as one of the main economy for generating positive impacts and also generate jobs and growth. But of course, we need then to shift from the theory to the practice. And then here it is where the project comes. The European Tourism Careers, I think that we found this name just to, again, to brand the project. The European Tourism Careers is a portal, is a portal where you will find e-learning opportunities regarding 2 main targets, the job seekers and small and medium enterprises. The European Tourism Careers, the main objective is to facilitate for the job seekers and small and medium enterprises the comprehension but also the use of all EU opportunities to increase the use of the EU opportunities, like mobility opportunities through the Erasmus program, the use of the EURES portal to help the students to have a proper professional CV, to find also a job as well, the use of funding from the side of the small and medium enterprises, but also we are working on the key priorities in terms of skills. Which are the skills needed to increase the to have a better quality in the tourism jobs, and to enhance the tourism careers, so that we can, because it has been found out that the tourism as industry as such is not part of the most search careers at the high level. So what we are going to create are tourism career pathways, so that we can give to the students clarity about the career they can do in tourism in 6 different subsectors. Alessandro will give you details. We have training regarding tourism here and there everywhere, but it's very important to give to the students a clarity about what job they can do, which will be their career, and which will be the mobility opportunities they can have going to other countries and get also additional values. And this is another topic of the project, also the soft skills. So it's also about helping the students to have not only the technical knowledge, but also to have all the soft skills to help them joining any job opportunities and any context. Now there is another concept I wanted to share with you, because we are here, so I hope this is only the first appointment and you will be part of as the key stakeholders of ACEP during the whole life cycle of the project and even behind, because we really want to deliver something which is transformative and can leave real some benefits in the place. And this is why it's so important, this event. We don't want just to disseminate how we are good and what the European Commission, but it's just to start thinking strategically and see how we can cooperate for, in this case, of course, for Greece, because results needs to be at European level, creating a common framework, but at the same time we need to vitalize also the local level, the regional level. So it's very important, as I was mentioning with some of you before, to create also good ecosystems with the training organization, innovating their training for the students, creating more opportunities between small and medium enterprises and the job seekers. So the use and how we can, we have the tools, actually, we have the tools. IDEATE will provide some technical tools, but what IDEATE will do will facilitate, again, the use of existing EU tools. And among these should be also the structural funds. We need a change. If we really want to make tourism the real engine, we need a change. And it's not enough to have the financial opportunities, but we need to know how to use these financial opportunities. So it's all about also planning the training courses, working with the training providers in a very innovative way, trying to match the skills needs with the small and medium enterprises needs as well. So trying to fill this gap. So I hope that I already see that ACEP has already been working and having the workshop. So it's very important. The interaction has been already strong. We have a website, tourismcareers.eu, and videos will be soon updated, but in the next coming months there will be many activities. Of course, ACEP will be your entry point to the project. But again, I think if we want a step forward out of the project, it's not only using the e-learning platform, but it's also combining doing a joint effort and trying also to plan additional actions based on this priority that is related to the skills, and also to support the small and medium enterprises to engage with the talents, but also for the small and medium enterprise, of course, also to stimulate entrepreneurship as well. So it's all about putting together the key actors and trying to define a good ecosystem. And practically speaking, for example, in Greece, there could be like a pilot action in a specific area, for example, putting together training organization, a consortium of small and medium enterprises, a startup centers, trying to really generate something innovative. And of course, you have the link with the European Commission directly. This is a pilot project. The European, what that means? That this is a project that for the European Commission is very important, is a very strategic project, and they are funding other 2 projects connected to this project. So means that in the future we will have more opportunities, but we don't have to look only to the funding opportunities. We need to create something, again, that is creating some real impact at territorial level. So from my side, it's all. I just wanted to give you the general framework of the project, the scope, the objectives, and how we hope we can cooperate with all the partners from Greece. And Alessandro Carbone will give all the details about the projects. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Alessandro Carbone. I am a project manager on behalf of the Academy of Entrepreneurship on this IDEATE project. The Academy is the only partner in Greece. And this gives me the chance to tell you that officially 6 are the countries involved in this IDEATE partnership. Italy as a coordinator, Greece, Spain, France, Belgium, and Finland. But 3 additional countries will host some of the activities which the IDEATE project is going to implement or is implementing. Now, to go to what is happening or what happens during this 18-month project, I would say, summarizing, there are 2 main goals, which Silvia has already pointed out. Promotion of tourism career on a European level, starting from the 10 countries we are addressing right now, and promoting, given that we have identified the necessity to give value to this career path, promoting a training action for job seekers on one side and for small and medium enterprises on the other side. The training will be delivered through an e-learning platform which can be visited for free by both types of target. Now, in the process of reaching these 2 main goals, the project had already implemented some specific activity. The first of them was to identify at least 6, in the proposal we have defined that there were going to be 6 tourism career paths. And among others, we had to select. So for this purpose, we have done, first of all, desktop research, back office research, so to say, and as a second level, bilateral interviews with stakeholders in the 6 countries. Forgot to mention, but this research was mainly led by the universities which are part of this partnership. In the partnership, we have also training companies, so organizations which deliver training, a federation of tourism providers in Italy, Chamber of Commerce, actually 2 of them, an association for SMEs, like in the case of Greece, or an association referring to the promotion of gastronomy issues in Italy, like Gambero Rosso. Now, the definition of the 6 tourism career path was aiming at the production of material, in specifically videos production, in order to promote, to give awareness, to raise awareness of the importance of paths related to tourism. We have selected finally, after this process, the 6, let's call them subsectors of the tourism field, and I can give them to you because we've finalized them exactly during these days. So we are attending a second management meeting, transnational meeting. The first one is accommodation. from whatever management on a higher level to a lower level front desk path, a tourism path, and so on. A second sector is the gastronomy sector. The third one is quite an innovative one, at least in some of the countries we are addressing, is the destination management. The fourth one is travel and tours. The fifth sector is guiding and experiences. Those type of professional activities related to outdoor activities, which go from tour guides to those who propose cooking classes, rafting experience, and so on. And the last one is digital services and innovation, all what is connected to digitalization and tourism, like, for example, social media in tourism and so on. We are in the process of finalizing, of producing the 6 videos for the promotion of these TCPs, but parallel we are also producing 2 videos which are aimed for job seekers and SMEs in tourism, showing what are the financial possibilities, what are the financial support for these 2 targets, to collect some support, in this case financial support, in order to make their business running, or in order to make their learning experience as job seekers valuable and supported finally on a European level. For example, for job seekers, there are indications for some of the European programs. You find also leaflets in your folder, to have the chance to visit, with mobility activities, to spend time abroad and get in contact with other entrepreneurs or with other trainings, so as to enrich their skills and their capacities, come back to their countries and perform on a higher level with their tourism capacities. For SMEs, how to benefit, for example, from this apprenticeship support from a foreign country, but also how to access financial instruments on a European level. The second part, which relates to the training, the double training we are developing, which is going to be offered on a platform, is the definition of the training contents. What are we going to put into this training path, so as to be quite effective for both the job seekers and the SMEs. And for this purpose, besides the bilateral meeting, which gave us some information, in each country we are performing 2 focus groups, one with job seekers and one with SMEs, collecting the challenging, the needs, the requirements both targets meet during their daily working activity or their daily job search, in order to address these contents into our platform. The platform will provide predictably 6 sessions, 6 modules, training models for both the targets, and will be accessible for free once the platform will be finished. As a parallel activity, the project is offering also information and communication activity. This press conference is definitely one of them. I would also stress, besides the social media aspects, the show roads, which are going to be implemented at the end of this year, beginning of next year. So in the very last few months, once all the deliverables are ready, show roads are meant, though in different way in different countries, but as a way to meet with small seminars, both aggregation of SMEs in tourism and training providers or places where job seekers refer to, all these services related to occupability or training or universities environment. You will find sooner or later more information about the platform, which has a beta version working right now, but is not yet available with contents. Within the website, you definitely have more information, and you can keep updated about what is going on, and especially, I'm talking for the Greek context right now, where the show road events and seminars will take place, and when we will be opening for the testing as well as for the real running, the 2 training paths of the IDEATE project. I think that's all, and I thank you for your attention.
That would be fair to the rest speakers. Thank you for coming today. Actually, you're touching on a subject that we have failed greatly in this country. So this is the most important English statement that you will hear is this one. Now, the main points that I would like to raise is that this is a challenging period for Greece for tourism. It's not easy to be critical and a visionary at the same time, but this is what we need to do. So between 22 and 28 million people that we will receive this year, I don't know which news you believe, but I'm getting really mixed up with the numbers. So I'm going to go for the lower number rather than the bigger number, because those that think big would probably be looking at this another way than we are. I would say that we don't have the people, we don't have the staff, not just the skilled one, also the ones that are with the minimum education to cover the needs of this highly demanding, I would say, economy, the economy of hospitality. This is an expression I'm using lately just to mention, and this will be my second point, that this is not about tourism. Tourism is what the guests are doing, their choice to come to our country. We have to have an economy that works around this need for them to travel, and we don't have this economy in place. What we have is a beautiful land, so people choose to come to Greece the same way they choose to come to Italy, by the way, and this is to no offense to my country, but Italy is my favorite place on earth. And there are things that are basic. So we need the skilled people to do the job. We don't have the skilled people. At the same time, we have universities that failed to attract these people. In an effort to attract more skilled people, we are going to economic universities or university of different skills just to get the people to pay attention to the economy that we are suggesting, which is an economy of hospitality. Now, the economy of hospitality, in combination with these skilled people, creates a new environment of what I would think is a visionary's future. How would we see that? Why would I say that? Is because to get to the tourism, you need someone to be building the properties, someone to be maintaining the streets or creating infrastructure for this tourism sector, someone with vast agricultural knowledge of how to make us Holland and produce 4 or 5 times more than we produce from 1 acre of land, like they do. I'm sorry, but I'm half Dutch, so I have to say that these people are doing a perfect job and we are not. So if you combine everything together, we have a new economy that requires even more skilled people than the one we're actually missing. Leaving these two aside, there is a third point, which is a threat, and it really needs to put into some perspective. We have a sharing economy issue here in Greece, like everywhere in Europe. Now, while people want to fight this sharing economy, I'm not going to support that. You cannot fight the sharing economy. It's going to happen, one way or the other. What we need to do is put it into some context, but also claim the right to liberalize our sort of businesses, thus creating one level of fair treatment between all hospitality and, let's say, entrepreneurs. Now, the SMEs have the biggest problem because now they are directly threatened by this sharing economy. So while we are looking to give them trained and skilled personnel, at the same time, we have to tell them that maybe you won't have a business to run because the guy next to you can run at a 20-30% less taxation. So there needs to be some kind of correction there. The passing law is not exactly what I would dream. Anyway, the thing is that the entire Europe is now struggling to find a solution for the sharing economy. And since I understand that the European Union is looking to liberalize the same way that it does with Uber, liberalize a little bit the economy, then we have to find a way of how this is going to be a free-flow economy also for the entrepreneurs. And the SMEs are in the top of my list that have to be taken care of. They cannot be let to die in a decaying system the way that it's operating now. And it's not just Greece, I'm mentioning this again just to make sure that it's clear. You have 28 million people that are only 22, and at the same time, you don't know where these people are going. So, how can I convince someone to come to work for an economy that's not, the boundaries, it's not structured, yes, the boundaries are not there. So we need to fix that. Now, my next points are two personal stories that I would like to share. In Rhodos, at the end of May, there were 1,200 less professionals in the market than needed. So as we speak, we still have hotels that have not filled their positions yet. So this is a twofold scenario, twofold situation. One is that people don't go to work for hotels. The second thing is that we don't have the skilled people to go work for hotels. So there is a mixed message here. One of them is that we are not convincing enough as entrepreneurs. We don't offer a career path which is clear enough to them. And I will explain this very shortly why. And the second one is that, well, from what they see, they have not expressed an interest into joining this sort of an economy. Now, the truth is that we have failed, as I said it before, to convince that this is an actual path to success. But let's be very honest, it's the same in Italy, it's the same in most of France, mostly the south of it, it's the same in Spain, and it's the same in Greece. We are part of an aging Europe, and at the same time this comment about Europe becoming the museum of the world is a threat, but also an opportunity. I don't mind being the museum of Europe. It's nice to be the museum of Europe, but I have to be very focused on the careers that this phrase presents. So there are careers in a museum. We have to make sure that people understand that this is a career that gives a sustainable model of life. Mr. Clinton, on his way out of the White House, said, let's look at prosperity as the goal, not the riches, not to make more money. So Europe has to find its prosperity path, and believe it or not, even though it may sound a little bit too fixated on the job we are doing, tourism is a way of prosperity. So my next point is directly linked to that, and this has to do, coming back to the economy of hospitality, is how you link the pieces together. In today's marketing terms, there is a cross-marketing platform, and it's called tourism. We interact in ways that does not have to have very firm lines. This is the way the European Union wants it, and this is the way it actually works. I will tell you, this is my personal second story. I have recently declined to run for a third term in the Tourism Enterprises of Greece. There are reasons for that, which is not the time to discuss, but there is one thing that I will tell you. If we become introvert,
Yes.
too introvert, let's say, on what tourism is, then we miss the point of what really tourism is. Tourism is spread out in the economy of an entire country, and it touches every single profession in this country. So the best way to do that is go out of the box, because the box has been limiting us for a very long time, and try to link pieces together. So, coming back to your initiative, which I found absolutely amazing and great, we have to come up with a dream, a vision, and tell people, look, it's not about hospitality alone. It's not about tourism alone, if you want to use the term tourism. I really like the Americans that don't use tourism, but they use hospitality, which is a Greek word, philoxenia, and I don't really understand why we forgot about it, but anyway, we'll get back to that some other time.
Tourism is also a Greek word.
Tourism is a word that suggests what the others are doing. Philoxenia is what we are doing. So we want to come back to who we are, and this is why I'm trying to get back to who we should be. Come back with a vision and say to them, look, I'm not going to promise you 5,000 euros from day one, but I promise you a pathway to that amount, but also a pathway to a sustainable model of life, to the location where you were born and you live and you have your house, to a location where your family stays, to a location that needs you more than the center of Athens, which has been the 50% of this country for no reason. I mean, at least no apparent reason to me. I don't know why people gather in Athens. This is a nice place to visit if you are a visitor and you want to see Acropolis or you want to really enjoy good food, because we have everything. But if you want to work, stay on your island. Be taught, be educated, and do what you must do on the place where you were born, where you have a sustainable model of life, and where the opportunities are, because that's where they are. Thank you.
Thank you. So the last part belongs to me, because with all these excellent thoughts and points, I would like to put the catalyzing effect, a multiplier effect of careers in tourism at European level. I think that this is what we have to put in our courses, Sylvia. The entrepreneurship conceptual model the European Union adopted in 2016. What is the main idea of that? I have it also in Greek. We need to give the competencies of entrepreneurship in all the people in the tourism sector, and also the SMEs, and also all the stakeholders of the European ecosystem. If we don't get those 15 skills that they will understand the big pictures of being part of an organization, small and medium enterprise or a bigger organization, that we call it also entrepreneurship, to see the big picture of their everyday life on a business perspective, and transfer that, and not just to find a job, but to retain the job. That's the challenge of employability at European level in tourism as well. So if we give this passion and this vision to SME workers, but also to employees, because to be open on the box, you need all sides to be open on the box, then things could be better. Learning experiences from all stakeholders must be accumulated together and support the development of those skills. One important tool at European level is the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs program that exists since 2009 and can work as an additional tool to transfer those experiences in tourism industry between the European countries. So if we have good skills in some countries of Europe, we need them on the South European countries to be transferred, and this program facilitates this process as well. Unfortunately, in Greece, we have the lowest participation from the part of SMEs. So please, we want here not just to be informed, but to be engaged, to make more people to be part of it. Second, one of the biggest sectors of tourism is maritime and coastal tourism in Europe. Approximately 3.2 million people at European level, they are employed on this tourism, and more than 183 billion euros is the GDP of this sector of tourism at European level. That's something that we give emphasis for Greece, of course, but also all the other European countries as well. Open innovation for SMEs is something that we support, because connecting researchers of tourism, because you don't need just people, to serve food or coffee for 2-3 months. You want a more innovative, a more engaging tourism experiences throughout the year. We connect research community and university knowledge with the new trends in tourism experiences, and that is very, very important for engaging knowledge on this important industry. Finally, I will take that saying from the chief economist of World Bank, that places that facilitate sharing of ideas tend to become more productive and innovative than those that don't. Because when ideas are shared, the possibilities do not multiply. I'm coming, Alexa, to comment, we need to be out of the box. We don't have time to keep things only for us. We need to share, so the best of us to make them action. Closing, thank you very much for your time, and we're open for questions. Please.
To start with, I would like to ask, was this a European initiative or an Italian initiative?
European, from European Commission.
I'm a journalist in New Times and Tour Market, two sites. And I would also like to know if we have any data, I mean about Italy, for example, how many people work right now in the tourism sector? And is this one of the reasons Italy is interested in working with this project? What about the other countries? How were they chosen? Why were they chosen? Blah, blah, blah. And one last thing, so taking everything together. I believe that this could be, tourism could be a great opportunity for Europe to get together, to join efforts and unite, because Europe is facing a big problem right now, we all know. And we are trying to see how we can get Europe together. So maybe tourism can help very much in that aspect, if we decide to use it that way.
Yeah. So, first of all, the tourism sector is critical in all the partners' countries. It's one of the key industry for all the partner countries. Actually, in Europe, we have the last statistics. We have more than almost, I think, is the 10%. 10 jobs on 11, I think, are dedicated to the tourism sectors. Yes, the statistics, so it means, what did you say, Klaus? 10% of the GDP is
it includes the indirect.
Indirect. 5% is directly, 10% is indirectly, because tourism is a very cross-cutting sector. But 1 job out of 11 jobs is dedicated to the tourism sector. So 1 person, every 11 person works for the tourism sector. These are the main statistics. But as we were saying, tourism is really a cross-cutting sector. So to have is very, we cannot measure. That's why it's important indirect. Only people working for the hotels or all this. So this is the approach. Yeah, this is the approach.
And, ask Mr. Alessandro Angelopoulos.
Yes.
We are both Alessandro.
Why do you think people are not attracted to job careers right now in Greece? Because there's a rumour they're not getting paid well. So is that the reason? Are there other reasons? I mean,
Well, hiding around the bush would not really mean something right now. So yes, they are not being paid extremely well. Thanks to the excessive taxation that we are forced to pay. You know, we had 11 different amendments in the taxation since 2011. This was the only sector in Greece that had so many heavy loads to carry, and for reasons which I had never understood. I mean, you are an extrovert type of business. You are actually the exporting business of this country. You employ 20% of the people in the country. You are almost 20% of the GDP of the country. And the answer is, let's hammer them. But hammering us leads to the entrepreneurs hammering the people that need to work in the company, which is a very sick way of looking at it.
very wrong way.
And to be very honest with you, even if you try, and you're talking to someone that tries to keep the level of employability of the Greeks, or actually of the ones carrying the permit to work here, almost close to 90%, I will tell you this is an impossible scenario. At some point there has to be a solution, and yet the solution is never fair to the employee. So there really needs to be, besides this, which is a very power tool, if you ask me, I can find different ways of applying this tool to the real needs that we have. There really needs to be a political decision. What do we want to do? We have 25% is now the unemployment. And there is a need, and yet if you go to some of the borders of Greece, we employ any sort of people as long as we don't have to pay. So this is a problem, yes. I have to say that we are to blame as a business sector. On the other hand, we are the business sector that signed one of these collective agreements for employment. Probably the only one, yeah. So we are trying to keep up with the people rather than the government trying to push us the other way. But again, this is very difficult to do. And the most difficult to do is to explain to our end employee, to the employee, to explain the efforts that we're trying to do to make this right. And we are. I mean, there are people that I can tell you are really trying, but it doesn't work unless we have the other partners.
You have hotels in different places in Greece. Have you seen a different attitude of the different
Yes,
places of Greece?
yes.
I believe Crete is different. People,
Look,
yeah,
Look.
from what I know, I mean, from my experience, it's not my experience with hotels.
I'll be very honest with you. There are places like Crete that are the most educated in this type of service. They're really good at their job. They have this Greek philotimo, which is a really nice word. I've been happy to read about it every now and then the last months. You see, believe it or not, you see that also in Peloponnesus, but they don't have the skills yet, but they have the philotimo. And you go into some of the islands, and you say, Maya philotimi. So, you know, the idea is, yes, we need to do some work on the people, but let's be honest, we need to do some work on ourselves.
When will the platform be available?
We are working now, finishing the selection of the training needs. As of September, October, we will create the training modules. I would say by the end of November, December, we will start the testing. Okay.
And the roadshows, they will take place?
As December on, so yes.
But the website is already active, and yes.
No.
And
The website is in is working. The platform is in a beta version to show how it will work.
And also in a few weeks, actually, you can see there will be uploaded 2 videos, to show the main scope of the project, one for the job seekers and one for the small and medium enterprises. So you can download it very soon. Yeah.
Actually, you could subscribe, I would suggest this, to the newsletter. You will find it on the website, so to be updated also with the information. So whenever the platform, yes, exactly, when the platform will be ready or whatever event, we will be listening the events where we are going to promote the project, you will be able to know that.
Facebook page, Twitter, so all the social media as well. Yeah.
Any more questions? No?
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
very
you.
much.
Take care.
I should give you my phone.
Yep.
No, actually, my understanding of Italian is not bad, but I'm a little bit shy in speaking.
Okay, but